So, we are live now. A very good evening, one and all. I'm Devanshi Sharma, your host and your host. And on the behalf of the entire team of Satna Incubation Center and Satna Smart City Development Limited, I welcome you all to this very beautiful session, specially designed for the startups of Satna. The topic is Taxation Simplified for Startups. So, for that, we have a very prominent guest with us, CS Praveen Tiwari with us, corporate advisor and NCLT practitioner, Mumbai. A very warm welcome, Praveen sir.
Thank you.
सो आज का हमारा टॉपिक है टैक्सेशन सिंप्लीफाइड. जब स्टार्टअप्स अपने स्टार्टअप को स्टार्ट करते हैं, धीरे धीरे उस पर काम करना चालू करते हैं, तो बहुत सारी लीगलिटीज़ होती हैं जिसमें वो नहीं पढ़ना चाहते, या बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट टास्क होते हैं जो इस बैकग्राउंड से नहीं रहते हैं. सो फॉर इसी चीज़ों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोग आज इस टॉपिक को लेके आए हैं. सो प्रवीण सर विल टेक दिस सेशन. सो ओवर टू यू प्रवीण सर.
Okay. Thank you, Devanshi ji. Two things. One is whenever the people feel they have any query, so they can ask in the mid of the session. That will be fine, because
Okay.
definitely that will be relevant for others also. Because end of the session, if they will be waiting, so they will be forgetting their doubts or queries. So anytime, whenever they feel, they can ask the question, or they can put it on the chat box. We'll take it one by one.
Okay.
So the today's topic we have, that is taxation simplified for startups. So in a very layman language, we can define it. What are the taxation provisions for the startups? Whoever is doing or starting any business or having any innovative ideas and executing that business on a platform, and there are ways by which they can take on the business, or kinds of or types of entities. So we can go one by one. So please check on the next slide. So today we will be covering taxation system. That is two types of taxation. Everyone is aware. One is direct and indirect taxes. Startup and its criteria. So our main topic will be, we are covering about the startup and tax rates, benefits or exemptions to startup. So what are the benefits we will be getting? So the entire our session will be based on these four topics, four agendas. Yes, please next. So this is one tax system based on the, one is direct tax and another is indirect tax. Direct tax simply defines, direct means the government is directly taking the tax from the individual. Whoever individual is earning, individually salaried person, so directly he or she has to pay the tax directly to the government. And indirect is everyone has to pay the similar tax that is based on the products. So if someone is earning 10 lakhs or someone is earning 50 lakhs, he or she has to pay direct tax based on his or her income. But if that is an indirect tax, so indirect tax, if you are paying kind of a GST you are paying, so even I have to pay the same tax and even you have to pay the same tax. So that is indirect tax, and that is government is collecting from everyone based on their services, based on their products. Even if you are going on to the restaurant, there also the restaurant will be charging you the GST, and that everyone has to pay. Either I will go or you will go. But the direct tax, it depends on your individual income. So that is the basic difference between the direct and indirect tax. So we can move to the next slide. Here is some small PPT slides based on how the tax system works. So one side is a direct tax and other side is a indirect tax. So direct tax, as I told, paid by the person who is earning. And if you see on the other side, indirect tax paid by the end user or consumer who is using the product or services. On this side, example like income tax we used to pay, and for the indirect, it is GST or VAT. It is paid on profit or salary, we can say. It is recovered from the customer on the goods and services and paid to the government. So this is the basic difference between the direct and indirect taxes, how it works and how the government is collecting the direct and indirect tax. Yes, next. Now, coming to our main topic, what is startup? So, anywhere any people are not able to understand or not able to collect along with me, then definitely they can ping. Startup, it's something which anyone is having any idea, any innovative idea to start or run any business, whether it's on a small scale or a medium sized scale or at a larger scale. It can be on any level. Startup can be defined as a starting any small business, either with the individual or with the two or with the three or with a couple of people or with, I can say, group of the people. But we used to say one is running a business on a solely business that we called as a proprietorship. Most of the people are preferring proprietorship. They are having their own business. If they are coming with someone with whom you have a trust, with whom you have a faith, and you are coming into the partnership, so that we called as a partnership. Partnership can be of a two types. One, which is unregistered. Another is registered. Unregistered means what? You and your friend has agreed in any stamp paper or any agreement that we will be contributing this much. 10 lakhs you are contributing, 10 lakhs your friend is contributing, and you are investing and you are running any business. But that firm is not registered with the registrar of firms, जिसको हम बोलते हैं registrar firm, ROF. So ROF, if it is registered with the ROF, it will be called as a registered partnership. If it is not registered, just you have entered one agreement between you and your friend and you have running the business. You have opened the bank account, you have taken the GST, and you are just running. So that is unregistered. In unregistered partnership, you cannot sue to other party. That is the adverse. And that is the reason if you are running a business on a partnership basis, then you can go for the registered partnership. And that has to be registered with the RF. Another form was LLP. So if you see the first point, registered as a private limited company, limited liability partnership, or registered. So unregistered partnership cannot avail the benefit of startup. If you are running your business as an individual, then you cannot take the benefit of startup. Or you can be called your business as a startup. Startup means any business if you are starting, that is a startup, but you cannot avail the benefit of the government. You cannot avail the benefit of the scheme given by the government. That is the thing. So three entities will be coming under this startup. One is private limited company. So I'll just explain a small what is private limited company. Private limited company means if you are opening a company, it's a body corporate incorporated under the Companies Act 2013 under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs coming under the Ministry of Finance. So also we known as MCA portal, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs website. In that, if you are registered, minimum 2% is required, 2 directors, 2 shareholders. With that, you can register your partner private limited company, and then you can obtain your GST number. Your PAN and TAN will be coming along with the certificate, and then you have to open a bank account. Then you can run your company. So that is the benefit you will getting, the benefit of startup if you have incorporated a private limited company. If not private limited company, second option is limited liability partnership. Now, what is the difference between registered partnership and LLP? Registered partnership, you have contributed 10 lakhs and you have registered with the ROF. But in limited liability partnership, it has a body corporate entity. It will be counted as a body corporate, same like a private limited company, and it will be registered under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It has a identity of body corporate, and the liability of the partnership will be limited. So whatever the contribution given by the LLP partners, their liability will be limited to their contribution only, not as like the registered partnership. So these are the three avenues if you are starting your venture, either by forming the private limited company or by the LLP, that is limited liability partnership or registered partnership, then you can avail the benefit of startup. So one is, and anyone can start the business. open the bank account, run the business, earn the profit, pay the tax. But initially, for helping to the entrepreneurs, helping to the freshers, helping to the new members financially, and that is the reason this startup scheme has been launched by the government of India. So, if you have to avail this scheme, you have to comply all the criteria as given by the government. So, first we have gone through who can avail this benefit. So, that is private LLP, private limited, LLP, and registered. Now, coming to the criteria of the company age, how old company can avail. So earlier it was 7 years. Now they have modified to increased the limit to 10 years. If your company is incorporated or your LLP or your partnership is 2014, say example 2014 you have incorporated. We are into 2023. So we are on a 10th year, almost we are on a 10th year. So your company or your entity should not be older than 10 years from the date of incorporation. So if we are within 10 years, you can avail this benefit. It's very clear. Turnover in any 10 years should not go beyond 100 crore. But definitely it's a very large maximum limit, because if it is a startup, then definitely they are not going to achieve or cross that limit. So definitely they will be falling. So three criteria we have seen. One is it should be private, LLP, and registered. The company should not be older than 10 years, and turnover should not be 100 crores. So from last 10 years, your turnover should not go to 100 crores. Original entity not have been formed by splitting up or reconstructing an already existing business. There are two ways in this. If already the company is running, and it should not be a split up, a reconstruction nahi hona chahiye. It should not be a splitted. Like if one company is working on a two department, two setup, and one you have splitted, and then you are coming for the startup. So that will not be coming under the benefit, and you cannot claim that as a startup. You cannot be have the status of the startup. So it has to be original entity. It should not be coming from the splitting or reconstructing any existing business. If you are a proprietor, then you can convert, or you can start. If you are a proprietor, you can form a private limited company. Then that cannot be considered as a splitting or reconstruction. You can avail the startup scheme. Then if you are a registered partnership, you can convert to LLP. If you are a proprietor, then definitely you will be incorporating a private limited company. So with the proprietor, you can convert to LLP. With the proprietor, you can convert to the private limited. So that will be considered under the scheme. And the main provision and main criteria, your work or your business should be towards the development or improvement of product, process, or service, and have scalable business model with high potential for creation of wealth and employment. So whatever you are doing, one is simply doing the business and earning the money. One is doing any addition to the growth of the society, and doing the same task which others are also doing, but doing in a different manner. Some innovation should be there. So like that, if that is considered under that, then your business will be considered. If you are meeting all this criteria, your company should be under three categories, and it should not be older than 10 years. Turnover should not be 100 crores and more, and your original formation should be there. It should not come up from the existing business, and the work business should be innovation. Then definitely, if you are meeting this criteria, then you are eligible to take the benefit under the startup scheme. So we can move to the next slide.
So we have one question related
Yeah,
to this.
yeah.
Sir, I heard that age of company should not be 3 years old. Is that true?
No, earlier it was 7 years. Now it is 10 years.
Okay.
So, so Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trades, DPIIT,
DPIIT.
under which this all startup scheme, everything you will get to know. Being a entrepreneur, being a fresher, if you open the startup scheme or startup DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade, You will get the entire thing. What are the benefits? What are the criterias? And including this. Earlier it was 7 years. Then 2020 again it has come to 10 years. Okay. So the taxation is based on the type of registration, LLP, registered partnership, and private limited. So very clearly they have mentioned, like if it is a partnership, standard 30% taxation will be there. If it is LLP and if it is a private limited, it will be a 25%. And if there are some special categories where the percentage will be reduced to 25, that is 22 something. So it depends on the entities based on which taxation. But in round figure, we'll see the taxation will be around 25 to 30%. And if it is 30 and including surcharge will be level only when the income is 1 CR and above, profit is 1 CR and above. Otherwise, there will be no surcharge. So it depends. The taxation will be based on the criteria of the entity. Yes, next. So here we can see if it is LLP, then 30% flat taxation tax slab is there. If it is a partnership, then 30%. If it is a private limited, small private limited, having the turnover of less than 400 crore, then it will be 40. Other than domestic company of this, it will be standard 30%. So for all the startups, it will apply 25% only. In a 90% cases, it will be 25%. So these are the rates. And yes, next please. So this slide we have already discussed. So now we can see this registered as a partnership LLP and registered we have seen. Turnover should not be more than 100 CR. Company should not be older than the 10 years. Original entity you should have. And interministerial board of certification, that is IMB certification, and new plant and machinery. So if new plant and machinery you are assessing and there is a capital gain, we will come to that point at later stage. If there is a capital gain, for that also there is a exemption, there is a waiver of 20%. That capital gain tax you don't have to pay. You will get under the exemption category. So there are the schemes subject to, first you have to fulfill all the criteria of the startup. So benefit of taxation also will come later, where you can apply for the ATIAC, and then for the 3 consecutive years you can get the exemption for your taxation point. You don't have to pay any tax for the consecutive year of 3 years. So that 3 years criteria is for the claiming the tax benefit. So I guess this and I can say the applicability is very clear, and it's a hardly 4 to 5 points which everyone has to take care. And if you are meeting this criteria, then definitely what are the benefits given to the startups, you will be getting the all. Yes, next please. Yes, so we were talking about the capital gain tax. So the company, if raises capital through the share stock or the profit earned by the engaging in a such dealings, so definitely there is a taxation of 20% capital gain tax. If that is the same, so that case also, if you are registered under a startup, so you will get the waiver for that exemption of 20% in their capital gains, resulting in them having to pay less than tax on profits earned through the sales of stocks, bonds, and shares. So if you are a registered startup, so for that capital gain, if you are earning a capital gain, then for that tax you will be getting the waiver. Yes, next. So a small presentation over here to show how the things will go and how you are getting the approval from DPIIT. So first you have to incorporate your private limited company. That is obviously through the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, MC21, or it is a LLP. So private limited company and LLP, you will be incorporating through MCA, having a 2 partners, 2 directors, 2 shareholders. For private limited, 2 directors and 2 shareholders are minimum, and for LLP, 2 partners. So once you are incorporated, you got the certificate of incorporation from the MCA. Then you can get your private limited company or LLP registered under DPIIT. So for that, it is very easy. You don't have to worry much about that. And once you go to the website, and easily you can fill up your information, your details of your company, and you can register yourself, your startup, under DPIIT. And once you are registered, and within 2 days or within 1 day, 2 day, maximum 3 days, you will be getting the certificate, register under the startup. And then you have to apply for the income tax exemption. For that also, you need to submit your financials for the last 3 years. Register on startup.india, fill form 1 on the same website on approval, claim exemption. So there will be two criterias. They will be asking you the documents for the tax exemption. If your documents are fulfilling, they will approve. If not, they will give you a show cause notice to explain. And if nothing they will find as genuine, then they will reject the application. It depends on the case to case basis. But definitely, if there is any query, so they will be sending you the resubmission or query. Yes, and 100% profit is allowed as deduction in consecutive 3 years if we are getting the benefit for tax exemption under
Okay.
80 IAC.
ओके सो वी हैव वन क्वेश्चन अभी काफ़ी ज़्यादा सुनने में आता है 1% कंपनी सो इज इट पॉसिबल कि उन्हें ये सारी चीज़ें ये बेनिफिट्स मिलें अंडर स्टार्टअप इंडिया एंड डीपीआईआईटी
Yes, it has to be. Actually, it is also coming under the private limited status, but
राइट
it's a kind of one man army. It's a one man company. He is the director, he is the shareholder, and concept is brought in. It's like a proprietorship we are running, so he can have a private limited. So if it is a ABC private limited, so his name will be ABC in bracket OPC Private Limited. But if you see under the DPIT notification, they have not covered OPC. They have said private limited company, LLP, and registered partnership. So OPC, as of now, it's not covered
ओके
under this startup scheme. But if
ओके
someone has to run the entity or any business, and if has to avail the tax benefit, and it has to avail the even for the borrowings also, for the loans also, for their projects and all, for that also better they should go under either private limited or LLP or registered partnership, so that it will be easy to get the finance also from the banks for running their business.
गॉट इट
And they are registered under the startup, but definitely they will be getting the benefit out of that. So
ओके
yes,
ओके
next please. So this is angel tax. If any investment was received by any unlisted Indian company, so that valued, if it is valued above the fair market value, so the difference of that base price and the market value, that will be taxed. And if that is the tax, that also some exemption, some waiver will be there for the startup. If you are registered under startup, so angel tax difference between the base value and fair value and the market value, if that is a difference, so that tax will not be imposed over that. Yes, next please. So here the startup should meet certain criteria which are as follows. It has been recognized by the DPY, that is you should be registered as a startup. Aggregate amount of paid up share capital and share premium of the startup after issue or proposed issue of the shares, if any, does not exceed 25 CR. And the aggregate amount of 24 crore paid up share and capital does not include the shares issued to non-resident and a venture capital company. So if you are meeting these criteria, then you will be eligible to claim the angel tax exemption. So on this also there is the same process. Incorporate a company, then get your for business registered under startup, and then get the on approval claim exemption with the income tax. Yes.
So one question we have, sir, if I don't have partner, then which one I should incorporate? Can I go LLP or OPC?
If you don't have a partner, then which one you can if you don't have any partner, then definitely you have to go by default OPC only, because for the private limited also you need a two people, and for LLP also you need a two people. So if no one is there, then you can better go for OPC. But in that case, you will not be able to enjoy the benefits of the startup, and you cannot avail the benefits of startup. You cannot register a business under the startup scheme. So
So
you
here
can
I
take it.
have a suggestion. He or she can make partner their parents or their siblings if possible.
Yes, they can. They can. There are many business in India which are family owned business, and in an initial stage when family takes up any business, and that later the junior generations are taking over with the taking all the benefits of the schemes. So definitely you can start your business and take on your innovative ideas, and then you can have your other director or other partner as your parents or your cousins or your siblings. You can very well.
Right, right. So, what is the minimum age of partner? What can
18.
be the minimum age? 18.
18. For
Okay.
becoming a director, your age should be 18. And for partner also, partner can be minor, but that will be done under the guidance of the any guardian. So for
Okay.
if you are making any partner as a teenager as a partner, so guardian will be doing on behalf. But technically, if you speak, if you are becoming a director, your age should be 18. So that you can get the DIN number, that is a director identification number, and then you can very well go ahead with the incorporation of your LLP or your private limited company. Yeah, there is a relaxation in law set of carry forward if you are registered under startup. So to carry forward your loss in respect of eligible startups, it is allowed. So is if that is the case, three criteria you have to meet. One is all the shareholders of such company who held shares carrying voting powers on the last day of the year in which the loss was incurred continue to hold shares on the last day of the previous year in which such loss is to be carried forward and set off. So, in a very simple language, I'll explain this statement. If I'm running a company, I'm the promoter. For just taking the benefit of carry forwarding the loss, I should not transfer my company or my business to the other promoters. So, who are the shareholders at this year? The same should be the shareholders in the next year only. Then only you will be eligible to claim the set off in a carry forward loss. Just for taking the benefit, you cannot just take the benefit of loss if the business is not running and you are just transferring your company to the other promoters. So the promoters should be the same, shareholders should be the same. So that is about first point. And second point is the restriction of holding 51% of voting rights to be remained unchanged under section 79 has been released in the case eligible startups. So the holding of 51% which you are having in the business, same should be you continued in the when you are claiming. Your shareholding should not be changed. So in that way you can carry forward your loss and you can set off your loss against the profit. Yes. So various kinds of entity if we see. So DPIIT registration. So yes, definitely you can LLP three criterias. You can have a registration under DPIIT for company, LLP, and partnership. Tax exemption 80 IEC you can take in all three categories, and in partnership it is not there 80 IEC. Carry forward losses it is there in company, but it is not there in LLP and partnership. Angel tax exemption it is there in company but not in LLP and partnership. And exemption under section 54GB it is there in company and not under the other both. LLP is also kind of registered partnership we can call. So both partnership and LLP will be counted under the partnership only. Yes. So we were talking about the standard rates. So standard rates we have already seen, like LLP it will be 30% and the partnership will be 30%. But for the company, smaller company, it will be a 25%. But there are some special criteria if they are meeting. So domestic companies, if they have opted for section 115 BA, then 25%. And if it is 115 BAA, that is 22. And if it is 115 BAB, that is 15. So these are the special kinds of provisions. If the company is opting, then only they will be eligible to pay the tax at the rate which is mentioned here. Otherwise, the standard rate for the startups company private limited will be 25%. And if the business is 1 CR and above, if the business is 1 CR and above, then the surcharge rate will be the 7%. And if it is 1 to 10 crore, then 7%. And if it is beyond 10 crore, then it will surcharge, it will be the 12%. So these are the tax criteria. It's a very clearly defined. Either if you are incorporating company, now we have spoke about the startup and registrations, but one thing, even if you have, either you have started a partnership, registered partnership, or you have started a OPC, leave it OPC if you have started, or it is a private, or it is LLP. Even if you started your business or not, even if you have earned profit or not, your tax should go. You have to pay. You have to file your return, and that to nil return, and you have to pay. You have to file the ROC returns, because many times what happens with the startups, they are doing a very good business, they are running the business at very good scale, but on that one taxation point of view, definitely you need to have a advice and guidance from the professional. But on other side, if your company is there, your LLP is there, you have to take care the compliances of ROC also. Many times what happens, if the business is running, they are busy on their business and they are not taking care of the compliances part, and then they are getting the hefty penalty from the government side, that is ROC, that is registrar of companies. So they have to take care. The compliances are fixed, they are mandatory, whether you run your business or not, whether you earn from the business or not. Taxes, this returns you have to file, and compliances you have to do. So both the sides. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay the penalty, or you don't want to get fine, or you don't want to get any notice, just take care all the compliances. So first, starting any business, starting any startup or incorporated company, from your side, yourself itself, you just go through what are the complications, what are the provisions, what are the complications, implications will be there in the private limited or LLP if you are incorporating that. So one side you have to take care of your business, one side you have to take growing of your business, and other side you have to keep a track that your compliances are done in time within due dates. Leave it whether it's a GST, whether it's the income tax, or it's a RO compliances. So that you have to take care. Yes, next please. Yes, so the special kinds of taxes we have seen. So in this case, when it is registered under 115 BAA, and it shall be the surcharge for, if specialized case, the surcharge will be flat 10%. In other cases it will be 1 to 10 CR, it will be 7%. Above 10 crore, then it will be a 12%. But in special kinds of these three categories which you have seen, the surcharge rate will be flat 10%, and health and education services will be 4%. That is for everyone, in for other cases also, for this cases also. So these are the taxes. But according to me, taxes is standard, or there is a difference of a very a minimum minimal difference is there on the taxes point of. The more concern for the startup should be keeping the timeline on in mind. What are the timelines, what are the due dates, what are the compliances part, that is more effective. Because if that criteria, that deadlines are not kept in mind, then definitely you will be burdened with the fine and penalty. And in that case, you cannot say that my business was not running, I have not started the business, even if that is the case. So that is the thing. Otherwise, if you are growing good, if you are earning good, then it is fine. Definitely, you have to pay the tax, and whatever the has been provision given by the government, you have to pay the tax, and it is equal for everyone. And the good part is, try to get the information and knowledge about the your entity, whether it's a private limited or it's a LLP or it's a partnership. What are the provisions applicable to your entity, that know to need for? It's not like that you being running a business like a layman, you are good or expert in your business, but you have to have know the knowledge about the compliances part also. So you have to take care of the business, you have to take care of the finance, you have to take care of the marketing, and you only have to take care of the compliance part also. Okay, definitely you can take a guidance from the professional who is expert in that field, but definitely you too have to get yourself involved in that, rather than blindly keeping everything depending on someone. So you have to have in your mind the due dates and the compliances deadlines. Yes, next please.
So can we take this question?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. We have one question from Mr. Naeem that said difference between two partners and two directors.
Okay, so it's a very simple. If you and your friend is incorporating a company, private limited company, so you too will become. You have to become a director, and for becoming a director, you have to obtain a DIN number, that is director identification number. Once you have obtained a director identification number, so for company it is a director, and same DIN you will be called as a DPIN, that is for LLPIN, that is limited liability identification number. So DPIN and DIN, it's the same. So DPIN means designated partner identification number. It will be same. So for if you can be a director in n number of companies subject to the passing of the special resolution. So it's not like that for every company you have to obtain the new DIN. One person will have the one DIN, and with that DIN you can. So for company it is a mandate provision to have a two directors. So you will be called as a director, and if you two are opening and forming an LLP, then you will be called as a designated partners. And for in LLP designated partners, and if it is a registered partnership, then you will be a partner only. That time you don't have to take any DIN number or any DPIN number. So for registered partnership, you two are only the partners. For LLP, you two are the designated partners, and for private limited company, you two are the directors, and you two will be the shareholders because you both have started the company. You are the promoter. So it depends on up to you. You are keeping 50-50 shares or what. You are the shareholders, you are the directors, and in partnership you are the contributor and you are the partner. Whatever the sharing ratio, you two have to decide in both the either in LLP or in partnership.
We have another question. Can I go LLP with one 11-year my son as a partner?
With one, you can, but for him the guardian will be your other guardian. Means if you are one partner and he is the other partner, for his behalf another guardian has to sign and take all the decisions. He can be there but under the guidance of the guardian.
Okay.
He will be
So
kind of a
he
nominee.
himself cannot be the guardian of his 11-year-old son.
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay,
And in that case, once he becomes 18 years, he will become the major. In that case, nomination will withdraw and he will be the actual partner, and he will be acting and signing on behalf of the partner. Till the attaining the majority, he will be acting as a guardian, or not with this, with any other guardian.
okay. Got it.
So next we can see.
Yeah.
So the domestic company normal income tax slab is that we have seen turnover criteria and tax rate. So when the turnover is or gross received during the previous year does not exceed the 400 crores, so obviously it will be 25%. And if it is other companies, then 30%. So these two are the criteria for the domestic companies. And surcharge will be same, that is 1 CR to 10 CR. If that is the income, then it will be 7%. And if it is above 10 CR, then it will be a 12%. So surcharge is, so in tentatively you have to keep a mind that whatever business you are starting, in maximum cases the tax payable on the companies will be 25%. If it is LLP, then 30, but if it is a company, private limited company, it will be a 25% plus surcharge if they are crossing the limits of 1 CR or 10 CR. It depends. Okay. Question answers we can take, or any other questions on based on the startups, because
Yeah,
taxation point.
we have some other questions. Are there any tax incentives or credits available for startups?
Incentives, these are the tax incentives. And what like one other thing which you can opt for, you can register yourself under MSME. So for that also you can avail the finance, or you can avail the loan from the banks, because for MSME, under MSME criteria there are a lot of schemes under which you can get the loans from the banks. So
Okay.
for MSME, you can opt, and startup is anywhere there till the 10 years of your company's life. So till your company is older than 10 years, till that time you can avail the startup scheme. And MSME anyone can have, and they can get the loan under the MSME schemes. There are a lot of schemes in banks for the startups, for the MSMEs, for the freshers who are starting the business.
Okay. We have one question from Miss Lalita that what type of taxes do startups typically pay?
what kinds of taxes. So if we count on, there are two to three, four tax, three tax I can say. One is if the limit for registration under GST is 40 lakhs, but it is most of the startups are getting registered themselves under GST. And if you are registered under GST, then definitely you have to pay. You have to collect the GST. You have to pay to the government. That is one. Income tax, anyways, you have to pay. That is 25% what is applicable to your company. With LLP, then 30%. So one is income tax you have to pay. Your company has to pay. Another is GST. If you are registered under GST, you are collecting the GST. Definitely, you have to pay to the GST. And if it is startup, then if you have employed your in your firm in your company of this staff, then you have to pay the professional tax also.
Right.
Apart from that, GST is a professional tax, GST, and income tax. That's it. Initially, you have to pay these tax.
Okay. One other question we have from our audience, that do I need to register my startup for taxes, for paying taxes, I guess.
No, for paying, no need of taxation. Government doesn't ask for any registration. If you are earning, you have to pay. Being an individual, if you are earning more than 3 lakhs, till 3 lakhs, it is exempt as an individual category. If you are earning, you need to pay. No, nothing to register. And in your company, if you are earning, even if you are earning a 10,000 profit, then you have to pay 3,000 rupees as a tax, standard
Okay.
30% or 25%. So for paying tax, there is a no registration. Directly you have to pay. So motto, it is applicable. If you are earning, you have to pay.
Okay. We have one other question. Can we incorporate a company with just a startup idea?
Yes, you can very well incorporate a company. Only the thing is that initial level, you have to just keep in mind what exactly, until you have a plan for further 3 to 5 years, what exactly you want, on which skill, on what skill, how far you are going to take up this business, and how you are going to manage it. Then definitely private limited company will be a very suitable entity to go with. And one more thing which I can add upon, that if you are a proprietor, if you are a OPC, if you are a LLP, or if you are a private limited company, if you are a registered partnership, registered under the, if proprietor and OPC, definitely you can't register under startup, but you can register yourself under MSME. If in that case, if you are MSME registered, if you are a startup registered, then you can have a 50% waiver on the fees to be paid under IPR. That is, if you want to register your logo under trademark, if you want to register your name, your brand under trademark, in that case, if the government fees is 9,000, then you have to pay only 4,500. If you are not registered in body corporate, then definitely it will be a full fee. But if you are registered body corporate, then you have to pay only 50%. So in that case, in under trademark also, you have a benefit of registering under MSME or under startup.
Okay. So do the startups need to pay 9,000 prior, and then they'll claim for the reimbursement? Is it so?
No, if you are registered under startup, then automatically, the while filing the application under trademark, you will be getting to pay only the 50%. That is 4,500 only.
Okay. Okay.
There's
Fine.
nothing called reimbursement. You have to pay only
Reimbursement.
4,000. If you are not registered, then you have to pay the full amount.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you so much, Praveen sir, for your valuable insights. I hope कि हमारे जितने भी startups हैं उन्हें बहुत ही interesting और बहुत ही informative information यहाँ से मिली होगी. So thank you so much, Praveen sir, on the behalf of all the viewers and on the behalf of Satna Incubation Center and Satna Smart City Development Limited.
Okay.
I thank you to all the viewers जिन्होंने आज ये session को सुना इतने ध्यान से. So till we meet next, you all take good care of yourself and keep learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.